قامت قواتنا المسلحة بإطلاق دفعة كبيرة من الصواريخ البالستية والمجنحة وعدد كبير من الطائرات المسيرة على أهداف مختلفة للعدو الإسرائيلي في الأراضي المحتلة. إن القوات المسلحة اليمنية تؤكد أن هذه العملية هي العملية الثالثة نصرة لإخواننا المظلومين في فلسطين، وتؤكد استمرارها في تنفيذ المزيد من الضربات النوعية بالصواريخ والطائرات المسيرة حتى يتوقف العدوان الإسرائيلي.
Earlier today, Yemen officially declared war against Israel, and this is the worst case scenario that I've been warning you all about for weeks. All it takes is for one country to do something like this for there to be a domino effect in the region. All it takes is for one country like Yemen to have the nuts to declare war against Israel, for these other countries to see what Yemen's doing. They'll grow inspired by it, they'll grow emboldened by it, and they will follow their lead. And mark my words, other countries are going to follow their lead. Also, you have to keep in mind that these countries over there, they're clustered up together. So, for example, when Yemen has a problem with Israel, there's countries in between Yemen and Israel that don't necessarily have a problem with Israel. So, therefore, there could be problems sparking out between them. And I can confirm that yesterday, 4 Saudi soldiers from Saudi Arabia, they were killed in skirmishes with Yemen militia groups on the border of Yemen and Saudi Arabia. So there's already skirmishes happening there. And then, of course, Jordan, they're in a very interesting situation, a very interesting location when it comes to all of this madness. And they've been reaching out to America because they say they need more air defense systems and things like that, because these countries who are against Israel, they're going to be firing rockets right over their country, trying to make them, trying to make it to Israel. These aren't the best rockets, most of them. These aren't the most precise high-tech weapons. So the people of Jordan are under a constant threat of one of these missiles or rockets falling on their country. Like I said, Saudi Arabia is in an interesting location. And speaking of dominoes, let's really look at what's happening here. This started with what was supposed to be a little war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. So you got the situation in Gaza. Now there's fighting in Lebanon. There's been fighting in Lebanon for weeks. You got fighting in Syria, not just with Israel carrying out airstrikes in Syria, but now there are attacks against U.S. soldiers in Israel. In Syria, there's been over a dozen of them. Then you got these attacks on U.S. soldiers in Iraq. There's been about over a dozen attacks on U.S. soldiers in Iraq. Now you got the situation in Yemen. So as you can see, the dominoes are falling very quickly over there. And what started with this beef between Gaza and Israel has turned into half the Middle East is already involved in this war now. And the U.S. is involved in it in multiple countries. So there's definitely a domino effect happening here. And this can spiral out of control. And that's why you see the U.S. military sending all of this equipment. That's why we're sending all of these troops. We're positioning these ships out off the coast of Israel. And I believe they confirmed that they're sending even more troops today. So what they're doing is every couple of days under the radar, they're like, we're sending 300 more troops, 500 more troops. Every couple of days, they're slowly but surely and quietly on the hush-hush sending more troops to that region of the world. And Yemen, they're not the most advanced military in the world, these groups in Yemen or whatever, but they have better equipment than Hamas and Hezbollah. So they have the ballistic missiles and things like that can really ramp this war up to the next level. And what happens is when one side ramps things up, the other side ramps it up. And usually the other side will ramp it up times 10 if it's something that's going on in the Middle East, because America and Israel, they have access to way better weapons, way better missiles, way better equipment, as opposed to most of these countries in the Middle East. Now, Iran has been claiming that U.S. forces have been on the ground helping with the invasion of Gaza. We know that U.S. forces were being sent over there. Supposedly, they were not being sent to fight. America is continuing to double down, saying, oh, none of our soldiers are being sent to fight. Our soldiers are being sent over there for other purposes. There's rumors that U.S. boots have been on the ground in Gaza. Rumors swirling all around the Middle East. And Iran is claiming today that, in fact, U.S. soldiers have been on the ground. The Iranian foreign minister says that intel indicates that U.S. forces in Israel are not serving as just in an advisory capacity, but they're actively present in the war zone. Now, is this true or is this false? America denies it. All of our enemies, these other countries over there, they're claiming America is definitely involved on the ground in this fight. But here's the crazy part. The crazy part is that we live in the age of social media. The truth doesn't matter as much as you think it does in the modern day. What matters is what people believe. So if these other countries in the Middle East believe these rumors, if they believe Iran, that's going to embolden them to act. Because for many of these countries, for many of these terrorist groups, militias, militant groups, whatever you want to call them, their red line, if you will, is American boots on the ground in Gaza. So America's denying it. Iran and other countries are saying it's true. But like I said, in the modern day, the truth matters very little. The truth matters to people like me and you because we have morals. Most of these people don't have morals. The people running these countries don't have morals. The people starting these wars, they don't have the same morals as me and you. They don't care. So, regardless of if U.S. forces are involved in this fight in Gaza or not, if these other countries believe that they are, that's going to cause them to act. There will be a reaction to this. What that reaction will be, I don't know. But I do know that the Pentagon has confirmed over 27 attacks on U.S. forces in Syria and Iraq just within the past week and a half. 27. And that's just what they're willing to confirm, folks. If they're confirming 27, there's probably been 50. I'm just going to be honest with you all. Because I was reporting to you all a week in advance before the Pentagon confirmed that these attacks were happening. So I'm sure they're behind. They've now confirmed 27. They're behind on confirming other attacks because every day I wake up and I look into the situation and there's been more attacks on our forces over there. So where this goes, where this is headed, I think we all already know the answer to that question. I keep saying it in my videos and I don't want to always repeat myself, but like I said, we've reached the point of no return. As these dominoes keep falling, we're digging ourselves. And when I say we, I just mean the world as a whole. We're digging ourselves in a deeper and deeper hole that's going to be really hard to climb out of. And at this point, I don't think we're going to see an end to this conflict until entire nations fall, until entire countries fall, until leadership is changed, regime changes. There's going to be a massive loss of life on both sides. It's going to get really ugly, folks. And with Yemen getting involved, it's only a matter of time before we see more announcements like this. And as all of this is happening, like I was saying earlier, you got like Saudi Arabia and Jordan, countries that I don't think really want to get involved in this conflict, but they're being put in a position to where they have to defend their own borders. It's not even that some of these countries might not join the fight to side with Israel, but they'll join the fight to protect their own borders because these militant groups, these militias, they're going to have to try to make it towards Israel somehow, and they're going to have to go through these countries to do so. And when they're firing their rockets and missiles, those rockets and missiles have to fly over these countries, and they're going to have something to say about it. So you're going to see people or countries enter into this conflict that aren't entering to side with the U.S. They aren't necessarily entering to defend Israel. Some of them probably don't even like Israel, but they're going to be put in a position to where they're going to be forced to make tough decisions to defend their own land and their own people. But with that being said, let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. If you're feeling generous, drop a super thanks, or you can support my channel for totally free by sharing this video, hitting that like button, subscribing, ringing that notification bell, and as always, I'll talk to you all very soon in the next video.